Jimmy Kimmel never needed Taylor Swift to appear beside him on stage. Donald Trump had already created the perfect setup on his own. In August 2024, Trump shared AI-generated images that falsely suggested Taylor Swift had endorsed his presidential campaign.
There's a thing called TikTok. Have you heard of it? It was announced about 2 days ago. The new numbers just came out. You know who the number one person in TikTok is by far? Trump, me. Like Taylor Swift was number 11. I'm number one in TikTok by far, but I'm number one by a lot.
Taylor Swift comes out against Trump.
I don't care if they write that. I'm sad that I didn't 2 years ago, but I can't change that.
You know what? Donald Trump likes my music 25% less.
And now the most popular singer of the century is telling her fans not to vote for him, and he can't take it anymore. He's had enough. He thinks, oh, I hate Taylor Swift. And then he whips out his little thumbs and he types, I hate Taylor Swift. And then somebody says, sir, do you think maybe? And he shoves that person to the ground, mashes the post button, and out it goes. I hate Taylor Swift.
To ask you a serious question, but I have to tell you the biggest pop culture news of the year broke while we were in this cabinet meeting. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged, and the world wants your reaction, sir.
Well, I wish him a lot of luck.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, and I think that she's a terrific person. So I wish them a lot of luck.
I'm serious.
And on her show, they were talking about the dangers of TikTok and Chinese, a whole thing with spying and what they're doing with it. Well, except it was announced about 2 days ago. The new numbers just came out. You know who the number one person in TikTok is by far? Trump, me. I just got I'm number one. Like Taylor Swift was number 11. I'm number one in TikTok by far.
When those fabricated images began circulating, Trump publicly responded by saying, I accept. A few weeks later, Taylor Swift revealed her actual decision. Following the September presidential debate, she officially endorsed Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, explaining that she had carefully researched the candidates and encouraging her followers to educate themselves before voting. Trump's response was immediate and unmistakable. I hate Taylor Swift. Kimmel displayed those words on the screen and simply waited for the audience's reaction. That pause highlighted the contradiction all by itself. The sequence gave Kimmel everything he needed. First, a false endorsement, then a public correction, followed by an angry response. When an AI-generated endorsement appeared to benefit Trump, he welcomed it. When the real Taylor Swift expressed support for someone else, he responded with public hostility. Kimmel put those two moments side by side and asked the obvious question. So, fake Taylor Swift was great, but the real Taylor Swift suddenly became a problem? The audience burst into laughter. Swift had never accused Trump of committing a crime, nor had she instructed her fans to vote exactly as she did. Her statement simply explained her personal decision, encouraged people to research the candidates, and reminded them to register and participate in the election. Yet Trump's reaction made her endorsement appear even more significant than Swift herself had suggested. For many viewers over the age of 65, the pattern felt familiar. Politicians have often welcomed celebrity endorsements when they work to their advantage and dismiss celebrity opinions when they do not. What made this episode stand out was how clearly the contrast unfolded. Fabricated support was embraced, while genuine disagreement was met with anger. Kimmel then returned to Trump's public image. Trump frequently presents himself as one of the toughest figures in American politics, someone who insists criticism does not affect him. Yet a singer publicly sharing her own voting decision prompted a widely circulated response written entirely in capital letters. Kimmel summed it up with a simple joke. Nothing says confidence like getting into a fight with someone who never even answered back. The audience erupted once again. Swift did not engage in a prolonged public argument. She did not spend the following days responding to every criticism. She announced her decision and continued with her work. Trump, meanwhile, kept the story alive. That difference became Kimmel's strongest observation. Political authority and cultural influence are not the same thing. A president has the power to issue executive orders, appoint officials, and direct government agencies. An artist's influence exists because millions of people voluntarily choose to pay attention. Trump could not tell Swift's audience to stop listening to her. The only thing he could do was react, and each reaction drew even more attention to the endorsement itself. Kimmel then returned to the AI-generated images. Swift later explained that seeing fabricated pictures falsely portraying her as a Trump supporter increased her concerns about misinformation and influenced her decision to publicly clarify her actual voting plans. That sequence completed the story. A fake endorsement circulated online. The person at the center of it corrected the record. Trump then directed his frustration toward the real individual who had set the record straight. Kimmel compared it to getting mad at the answer key because it didn't match your homework. The audience exploded with laughter. Behind the joke, however, was a broader point about democratic principles. A healthy democracy depends on every citizen's freedom to support the candidate of their choice without becoming the target of political retaliation or intimidation. That principle applies equally to celebrities and to ordinary voters. By the end of the segment, Kimmel and Swift had never appeared together or coordinated a response. Instead, they influenced the conversation from separate platforms. Swift made her choice public. Kimmel highlighted the contradiction. Trump supplied the reaction. Once those three pieces were placed together, the sequence largely spoke for itself. The audience applauded as Kimmel closed the segment. Trump had attempted to transform one endorsement into a public feud. Kimmel transformed that feud into a record of contradictions, and Taylor Swift never had to add another word.